Hello, Bacho. How are you? Fine. Very nice. Ah, so just guess what I'm going to do today. Ah, we understand, ma'am, what you are going to do. I know, because you must have guessed observing the diagram behind me, because you all are very smart, I know. So, one thing I tell you, actually, I made the video on digestive system, but as I observed some of the comments, when I was in defense, I made all the videos in English, but when I started on YouTube, I made some of them in Hindi. But I thought, let's do it now. So I'm doing it. Yes. Now, what is digestive system? Now, as the word system comes, what comes in the mind? For me, it comes as if something automatic. Yeah, it's the creator, God, whatever you say. Then I find that everything going by itself, but it is not by just as a sudden chance. Yeah, you will find that everywhere you will find what is there is reality, in reality there is a system. Now, how it is going on? Very interesting thing is how it is such an important thing, digestive system, how it is going on. One thing I would like to tell you that whole video I will not consider the time, how much time, but it would be a one shot video covering all the questions, all the MCQs which are in any bio related exam which are being asked generally. I will cover all that questions. Okay, so have patience, watch it, observe it with interest. Don't learn anything, just observe. Okay, so just see that. What is the first part of digestive system is the ingestion of food. Of course, till we not eat, how the digestion will occur? Digestion will occur only after when we have eaten the food. So ingestion is what? It is the intake of food. Now, when we intake of food, what? We take the food inside our mouth, right? Now, inside the mouth, whatever things I will not touch. I will touch that part which are being asked. So, tongue is a muscular organ. What it does? It helps in the mixing of food with saliva. It's a muscular organ, right? Now, regarding the teeth, what questions are generally asked? That is, you can see that is a thecodont. It means teeth we are having in sockets. In jaws, we are having the teeth, right? Second thing is diphyodont. Di means two, phyodont means two times. So you all know that we have teeth two times in our lifetime. First teeth, milk teeth, which we are having in the childhood stage, and when they are shed off, after that permanent teeth comes, right? Which remain uh, till what time you can have them. If you are not taking care of your teeth properly, they will shed off and you will be without teeth or would be with the artificial teeth. There are many things right now. So diphyodont. Now heterodont means hetero, you all know hetero means what? Different, and don't means that dentition, same teeth. So we all have four types of teeth, like what? Samne jo in front what we are wearing, the incisors, and the sharp one they are the canines, then premolars, and the last one are the molars. And how much it is? If that is a dentition formula, in exams it comes in this form. So what is this? 2123, and in the denominator also 2123. It is actually showing the half of upper jaw and this is showing the half of lower jaw, because sometimes there are difference in the dentition of some animals. So this method is adopted in the upper jaw and lower jaw. So 2123 means half jaw upper, if I consider two incisors, one canine, then two premolar and three molar. So how much it would be? 213, 2538, and 8 double 16. 16 in numerator and 16 in denominator means total 32. Right? Okay. Now very important thing in your mouth, in our mouth, uh, in addition to teeth and tongue, what is that? Is the salivary gland. So every time you feel in your mouth something liquid like, what is that? What is that? Where when you are just swallowing your saliva, what is that? That is saliva. That is, in Hindi it is called as thuk. Okay, right? So I am just saying so that you may understand it. Okay, so that saliva, what important thing in the saliva is that it is in the saliva maximum part 97-98% is water, but there are some mucus, right, in lysozyme, right, and salivary amylase. Important thing is that is the salivary amylase. Now what the thing that is the salivary amylase doing? Salivary amylase actually, if some question comes anytime in your exam that when the digestion of food starts, actually it starts in our mouth. Now how it happens in our mouth, you can see that saliva is having the salivary amylase. Another name is also there, that is the ptyalin. So what the salivary amylase is doing, the easy way to remember is that S for saliva, S for starch. So salivary amylase, what it do? It digests the starch and changes into a starch is what? It is a polysaccharide sugar. It is a polysaccharide carbohydrate. It is a polysaccharide, right? And it will change this into what? It is changed into maltose. Okay. Now maltose, it is a disaccharide. Just understand. Poly has changed to di. Now maltose, it is sweet in taste. So you must be knowing, if you have anytime you have tried it, although I know no one has tried it, but if sometime, as your elders say, just chew it 32 times, at least chew it 32 times. Food must be chewed, it must be properly. So whenever you have done this, you must have felt that the taste has already gone from whatever you are eating in your mouth, and you find that it has changed in sweet taste because that salty taste has disappeared, right? Our tongue is so important because it gives us the feel of the taste, as we have the taste buds for sweet, salt, sour and bitter, right? So important word for this, that is salivary amylase or ptyalin. It changes now this for starch into the that maltose. About 30% gets digestion here. Now what happens? The pharynx, the common area where all the openings, from the opening from the nose, from the buccal cavity, it must have seen like you could, if this type this way you must have seen, and the openings of the ear. This is the common place. Now here are also the opening from the food pipe and the windpipe. Now you can observe that in front there is the windpipe by which the breathing is going on, and behind the windpipe there is the food pipe. Now when the food is going down, now if you are going right, if you are going two way and you are not at all in complete, sometime if you are not paying so much attention, and there are two holes, means there are two tunnels side by side, so you don't know where you have to go. You may go anywhere in any tunnel, so there must be some guard who must tell you that you have to go there. So that purpose automatic system in our body is done by what? Epiglottis. How that is, if you can see the diagram, if you see the diagram here, that is the here, this pharynx, this is the region where you will find actually the epiglottis. So epiglottis happens. Now you see that this here is the epiglottis. What this is the windpipe. So what the epiglottis will do? It will close the windpipe and food will come in the this pharynx. That is the food pipe. Now how this food will proceed further? There is an important thing. One more thing I want to tell you. I have just forgotten the salivary gland. It is made of these three glands. That is the parotid gland. Then this is the sublingual gland, and then submaxillary, and this one is the submaxillary gland. Parotid gland found somewhere here, submaxillary behind the jaws, and sublingual below the your tongue. You can remember easily. Link means something linked with your tongue. Lingual. This way you can remind of easily. Now, important thing, an important question also comes from this place. Now, how the food will pass through the food pipe? Actual thing is that just for this purpose, I'm just using this. What is this? You know, that is, this is the pipe, simple pipe. Why I'm using the pipe to show, make you understand. This is one thing. If you can guess it just like it is the mouth or the buccal cavity. although you can know that this area is wide, and here is simple pipe, food pipe. This is your food pipe, right? Now, whatever the food which you are swallowing here, is more in diameter. Now, what if something is coming here in the pipe which is having more diameter, right, more volume, and which is more in the than the volume or diameter of this pipe. Now, anything here, how it will pass if it is flexible, made of rubber. So it will, what will happen, that its diameter will increase at that place of the food, and then when the food is passed further, then it will regain its original diameter. Now, how this flexibility our wind pipe is having? Actually, our food pipe is having that flexibility because of the muscles present in the muscular, this esophagus wall. Now, as if you must have seen the bags in the market having the foam inside, upper layer cloth maybe of some nylon, and another cloth inside like cotton. So that is the texture of whole bag. Okay, in this way, the same way, that this is the food pipe, how the food is passing through the pipe. So to understand that, let us see the structure of the gut. Gut means alimentary canal. Whatever the structure is here, that structure you will find in the whole alimentary canal. What is your alimentary canal? From here, this place to this place, it is a whole tube like structure. Somewhere it is broadened, somewhere it is a little narrower, but it is a single tube up to this place, right? Now, what is the structure? If you see the structure, that uppermost layer is the serosa, which is made of epithelium and the connective tissue. Now, epithelium is called as the mesothelium inside the body, right? Now, you see that inside the serosa, there is the muscularis, and I was talking of this. Because of this muscularis only, because it is made of two types of muscles, circular muscle and longitudinal muscle. You can understand this, like circular muscle, what will do, it will increase the diameter like this. If it is like this, it is relaxing. If it is like this, it is contracting. And you can understand that how the diameter is increasing of the tube. And longitudinal means this type of shrinking and relaxing is also required so that the food can easily pass. So if someone asks you what is peristalsis, what am I explaining you? That is the peristalsis. What is peristalsis? That is the contraction and relaxation of the wall, alimentary canal, so that the food can be passed. Right? I think you must have got. And how it achieves, how it happens? By the simple contraction and relaxation of the muscles present in the wall of alimentary canal. And one thing also remember, that peristalsis is only absent in the mouth and the rectum. And leaving these two areas, peristalsis is present in the whole alimentary canal. Now, one thing you understand. Now, this food has passed and now it will come here in the stomach. Now, at the place where it joins, there are the sphincter present. The sphincter is present here, sphincter is also present here. Now, how it is coming? So, for that purpose, the very good example, so as to make you understand that what type of sphincter is this and how the food is coming from the esophagus or the food pipe into the stomach, that is, you can see that actually a sphincter anus here is also present. Now, what is sphincter? Circular structure. Now, whenever you are passing the stool out of the anus, so how it comes out, that the size, diameter of anus increases and stool comes out, and when it has passed out of the anus, then it again come into the original position. Like you can see, the means that is sphincter have closed. The same thing happens here also. Now the food has come in the stomach. Now once you started grinding the food in the stomach, now another thing, another means this food will again be grinded in the stomach, because when the digestion has to be happen, means we have to make the food in very small particle, and then we have to change the food up to molecular level with the help of enzymes, right? So all the things are going on. So what happens, there is again the movement movement, churning of the food actually happens in the stomach, so that by that purpose. Now there are, in addition to the circular and longitudinal muscles, there are also oblique muscles present in the wall of stomach, and by that churning of food occurs. Now important thing regarding the enzymes. So behind, we will come to understand about the enzymes and things which are secreted in the stomach. So first of all, as we were understanding the wall structure, so below muscularis, it is what it is. It is the submucosa. Now submucosa, what function submucosa? For any place that is the connective tissue, that is the blood capillaries, they are the blood capillaries and the nerves, all things are required. So where are they present? They are present in the submucosa. This is the layer submucosa, and the innermost layer, which is you can see a little folding are also seen visible here. That is the mucosa, where you will find all the digestive glands. So when we are talking of the stomach, in stomach mucosa, there are the glands, cells coming here. Stomach, you can see that in this stomach you will see what we are getting. That is, first of all, we will talk of the HCl. HCl pH is 2 3 pH, 2 to 3 pH also fine. Now there are the cells, oxyntic cells in the mucosa, which are producing the HCl. Now you can see how much HCl. Whenever you have some HCl on your skin by chance or by accident, you know that we get a burn by the acid. It's so harmful. So how the stomach gets protected and what the function it is doing? HCl. Oxyntic cells, they have secreted the HCl. Now HCl, what it do? What the function it is doing? Oxyntic cells, HCl. HCl, it is, first of all, it is changing the pepsinogen. Chief cells which are producing the pepsinogen, it is actually the inactive form. So this pepsinogen gets changed into the pepsin, and which is possible only in the acidic medium. So without HCl, pepsinogen cannot be changed into the pepsin. And what important function pepsin is doing, you can see here that pepsin is digesting the protein into proteases and peptides. You can see that a little simpler form has come, proteases and peptides, and we all will see that how these proteases and peptides will finally change in the small intestine in the amino acids. Okay students, now what else the function HCl is doing? It, in addition to this, HCl kills the germs. You know, whenever we are eating the foods, many bacteria also again we get swallowed. We swallow them along with the food. So these bacteria are killed by this acid. Okay. One more thing like our stomach has, that is in infants especially, this is the casein of the milk, which is get digested by the renin enzyme produced in the stomach, and it changes into paracasinate, right? And fat, it is very little in amount, so you may leave it also, it doesn't matter much. Now you can see actually that is food, this food from the stomach, now it will pass into the small intestine. Now important thing about small intestine, the digestion process we are studying, that is there are this is the small intestine, the first part duodenum, then there will be this part will be jejunum, and this final part will be ileum. Now first of all we concentrate on duodenum. We are actually here, we receive the secretions from very two important glands: liver, the first largest gland in the body, and second one, pancreas, that is the second largest gland in the body. Liver is reddish brown color. This is the shape made of two lobes, and pancreas is a beautiful pink color gland present behind the stomach. Now what happen in liver, important, there are so many things about liver, it's a very important gland, but in connection with the stomach digestive system, what I am going to say, just it is made of hepatic cells. So you may remember by the disease hepatitis, which is connected with the liver, you must have heard about that. So this is the hepatic cells which produce, what important thing they produce? They produce bile in digestion, and bile is not an enzyme. Remember this, it's not an enzyme, but what important function it do? The important function is do bile, that is the emulsification of fat. Emulsification of fat means till now actually fat digestion has not started yet. Digestion of starch, carbohydrate started in our mouth, then digestion of protein is started in our stomach. Digestion of fat has not started yet, actually, in actual sense, right? So what will happen, you see that emulsification means what? This bile, what it will do? Bile will, it will emulsify the fat. How it will break into small, actually we will find the big micelles of the fat. It will break into small, so that the enzyme fat, which you will find in the small intestine, that it can act upon these fat, and it can digest the fat into fatty acids and glycerol. This is the function. Anybody ask you what is the function of bile? It is the emulsification of fat done by the bile, right? Now let's see that, students, see it, that from all the hepatic cells, that bile which is coming, that most of the bile gets stored in this, you can see this beautiful, this gland, that is the gallbladder, it gets stored up here, and from other also. So actually common bile duct is formed, all the duct from other cells also gets here, and from the bile duct it is coming. What happens, that even this bile duct joins the duct coming from the pancreas. Now what is going on here, that is the pancreas is also, pancreas secreting so many enzymes, but they all enzymes, and important thing is that it is secreting enzymes for all the component of the food, right? Means for carbohydrate, fats and proteins, but they are in inactive form. Now how they get active? By the enzymes of the small intestine, right? So this enzymes, they are coming here, a very important thing by which you can remind of. So one thing, yes, one thing I have left. What is that? That there is a hormone released by the wall of stomach called gastrin, which after circulating in the blood and coming back to the stomach, it gastrin. See that this gastrin stimulates the stomach to secrete these enzymes. And intrinsic factor is also secreted in the stomach, which helps in the absorption of vitamin B12 in the ileum part of small intestine, which you will later come to know about it. Now, the pancreas, how it is stimulated to secrete the enzyme. So you can see that the pancreas, here also the hormone cholecystokinin secreting. This secreting, you can see, I think, secreting. These are the enzymes secreted by the wall of, hormones secreted by the wall of the small intestine, which stimulate the pancreas to secrete these hormones. And for liver, it is only the cholecystokinin. So this, remember this difference. If somebody asks you about the which hormone is stimulating the liver, so it is the cholecystokinin. You can see this is the cholecystokinin, right? Now the secreting pancreas, what the pancreas is secreting, you can see that. Pancreas, you can understand well what is pancreas, which is, where is pancreas? So this is your pancreas. You can see this is the pancreas. Beautiful. Out. So what the pancreas, what is being released over here? That is the carbohydrate is being digested. Students, what we were observing, like this by the pancreas, what are being released? Carbohydrate being digested by amylase changing into maltose, and peptones by trypsin changing into peptides. Important thing by which you can remind of, what is that? That is as in the stomach was, it was pepsin. Like we need to digest the food, so we need PT. So P word for pepsin. Exercise, pepsin, P, and the T, that is the trypsin. So trypsin in the small intestine means digestive juice, whatever it is coming from pancreas, where it is going on, it is going in the small intestine. Which part? Duodenum. Where it is? duodenum, this duodenum, you can see here the digestive juice is coming, right? And fats, for the digestion of fats, also called as the lipids, as you can see written here. So lipase is coming, and by which the fats are being changed into the monoglyceride. You can see that it has changed into the simpler form. So important thing, or one more important thing, all these juices, they are coming in the small intestine. Now in the small intestine, means in the duodenum part, what is going on, that duodenum part, what is going on, that is first of all I would like to talk about the digestive part, the small going on in the small intestine. That is that the food which has changed to maltose. For maltose, here the enzyme, it is the maltase, which will change the maltose into the glucose. And what is glucose? You can see it is the monosaccharide, simplest form. Glucose, monosaccharide forms are what? Glucose, fructose and galactose, right? So this is the, finally it will change, the simplest form it has changed. Then it is the peptide. Peptide, by the enzyme peptidase, it is changing into the amino acid. Monoglyceride, actually it is a lipid monoglyceride. By lipase, it is changing into fatty acid and glycerol. The interesting thing is that, what is important thing, that you can see the name of the enzymes are on the name of the substrate on which they are acting to change it into the simpler form. Okay, and so you can see that digestion work is completed in the small intestine. Now one important thing, that why the enzyme trypsin here in the small intestine, means in the duodenum part, or the ileum part, jejunum part, especially duodenum and jejunum. Why not the pepsin for the proteins? Why not pepsin? Why trypsin? Actually, it needs an alkaline medium. And you know, as the bile juice coming from the liver, it was doing the purpose of emulsification of fat. The one more important thing it was doing, that as the bile juice is alkaline in nature, so it what it do, it actually that neutralizes first the acidity of the food coming from the stomach. You know, as the food in the stomach, it was acidic, you know, as due to the HCl was released in the stomach. And you know, as the HCl was released in the stomach, so the food was acidic over here. And moreover, there was mucus also released by the mucosal cells of the stomach, so which was protecting the wall of stomach from getting damaged by the HCl. Now here in this duodenum, the pH of the food has to be changed. So that function is done by the bile juice of the liver. And one important thing, that is in this duodenum part, Brunner's gland are also present. See this is the Brunner's gland. And what the function? They, in addition to the bile juice, they also secrete an alkaline fluid which is neutralizing or making the medium alkaline. Now see this. In addition to Brunner's gland and the glands present in the mucosa producing the various enzymes, one more important thing is also present which I want to mention, that is the Peyer's patches. You can see this P-E-Y-E-R apostrophe S, Peyer's patches. What is Peyer's patches? Actually they are the lymphoid tissue, means you mean see that is connected with the WBC. What the WBC do? They kill the foreign material, they kill the bacteria, means they are for the they are actually safeguarding us, means if there are certain thing which is not good for our body present in the food, so they will isolate that and they will kill that. So this is the function. So Peyer's patches, if somebody asks you what are Peyer's patches and where are they present, they are present in the smallest intestine, especially in the duodenum part, and they kill the foreign material, bacteria, right? Now, what will happen furthermore, the most of the digestion as well as the absorption after the duodenum, in this jejunum part, most of the digestion and absorption will occur. Now, till now we have understand the digestion process, how it will accomplish in the small intestine. But digestion, after digestion, this process of absorption is also completed in the small intestine. Now how this absorption is occurring, because that is an important part. After the digestion, food absorption is also required, right? So how it is going on, that is actually, see this, see this, and if it is the wall, simple wall, small intestine wall, and you can see, if see some breath also, then also you can see that this area is not much. If it is a wall area, it is not much. But somehow if you think that these fingers have grown over this area, now you can see that this area has increased immense, lot much increase in the area. You can feel, means that fingers have grown up now from this area. So this area has added up, means previously this was this much only, this much. Now it has grown up like this. And moreover, if you see that is so students, now you understand that this way how so much immensely increase the surface area. And this finger like, what we call them as the villi, right? Finger like projection. And villi moreover having the microvilli in the form of brush border. So tremendous increase in surface area which helps in the absorption of food. But how? So you can see here that this is a part of small intestine. I have written here also section of small intestine in the course of showing villi. Now what is there? This you can see, this is the finger like, and you can see microvilli. I have tried to show it like this. Now inside this villi, what important thing is that you can see here in this wall, as in the whole wall of the alimentary canal you must have seen, like that is the blood capillaries present in the submucosal arteries. So they, what are they? Actually this artery and vein, you can see this bluish one vein and artery, that one artery. Now these are forming the capillary from artery side, and this the capillary from the vein side. And one more thing you must be observing, that this green light, this is the lymph vessel. Actually what that is the glucose and the amino acids, they would be absorbed where? They would be absorbed in the capillaries. But as the fatty acids and glycerol, means fat part is not soluble in water, so it will be absorbed by the lymph vessel or the lacteus. Okay, so now you have understand that how the absorption will take place. Now after the absorption, what is left then? After the absorption, that is left, it is the, after the absorption, what will happen then? This you know, now this in this small intestine progejunum, you see that the absorption, most of the absorption is done by this jejunum part, but in ileum there are little less villi, but absorption is still going on. And here the absorption of vitamin B12, you know, I told you about the intrinsic factor releasing in the stomach, so it helps in the absorption of vitamin B12 and other things. Now whole absorption here in the small intestine is completed. Now after the absorption, what else comes? That is the assimilation. Now what is assimilation? You know, why, for what purpose we are doing, for what purpose this digestion is being done automatically in the body. Actually this assimilation means whatever food has been absorbed by the blood capillaries and the lymph vessel, that is lacteal, actually then it will finally go reach the every cell of your body, and what will happen there in the cell? This food would be utilized, for providing you the energy and for the development and growth, cell division and so on. Now this work has been completed. After that, what will happen? From small intestine, in this part ileum, the food will then enter the large intestine. The first part it is the cecum, and here there is a difference, that food will not enter the cecum like through a sphincter. No, here there is a ileocecal valve. Valve means it's a lid like valve, okay, and through this it will reach the cecum. Then this cecum, this is the colon, and this is the whole large and after this large intestine, you can see that students just see here that this is the ascending. Actually, what it is after cecum, this is whole is colon, called as colon. So this colon is, you can see if we start from here, so it is ascending colon, ascending colon. Then this is what? This is, you can see this is a transverse colon, and then this is the descending colon. Important point regarding this space is that here the mucus is secreted, more amount mucus is required. No enzymes are secreted here, no absorption takes place, except only water, minerals and drugs can be absorbed here. Now what is the function of the mucus? Why it is needed? Mucus is doing the function of actually binding the undigested part food. We mean to say that this binding is required. So that's why. And another important thing which is related with the large intestine is that is a large amount of bacteria are found here, and most of them are very useful. So that's why it is suggested even from the doctor side also that we should not take too frequently antibiotics. Okay, whether when it is required, then automatically then of course we would have to take it, but we should avoid taking frequently, right? So this is all about this large intestine. Now this undigested food, it passes finally to the where it is the rectum. So it is stored here for some time and then it is passed out of the anus. So I think that you have understood it well. Digestive system, this all about the digestive system. So thank you students. Bye bye bachcho, have a nice day.